Hello, welcome back viewers. This is EasyB with EasyB Tactical. Happy New Year again for those of you who didn't watch my previous video. With the shortage of ammunition, the high price, it becomes hard to go to the range. So today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite tools right now to practice firearm while conserving a little bit of money in a 22 caliber. The Taurus TX22 handgun. So this one right here. So we'll talk about real quick about the gun itself, what I've done, my impressions of it so far, and hopefully I have some footage for the range that I will incorporate to the video. If you enjoyed the video, share it, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. Check out my Instagram and Facebook page. Without further ado, let's get started. The Taurus TX22. So this is my first Taurus. I don't consider myself, I don't think of myself as a gun snob. However, I do pay attention to what I buy a lot. I like quality, reliability like everyone else, but typically with quality and reliability and great aesthetics, great performance, the price you have to pay for it. I've never really bought a Taurus before. I don't shy about, I'm not a brand snob, so if there's a gun that comes out and I hear or read good things about it, I will consider giving it a try no matter the brand. There are some typically that I would probably not, I don't have an interest on, but I usually have a couple of things. Either something really attracts me to the gun, I don't know how to describe it, but usually for firearms or other gadgets, if I really like something, even before I touch it, often enough when I actually touch it or try it out, I really enjoy it. So I tend to be attracted to certain things. So yeah, at least it was the case for the Taurus TX22. I think I first heard about it on Guns and Ammo on one of those magazines. I went to a store one day and I just kind of liked the vibe that was going around about the gun. And when I tried it, when I held it, it felt really good. I don't want to jump ahead, but the grip feels very good. It was the ergonomics of the grips are very well designed. They were very well made, so it fits like it was really molded for my hand. And I think most shooters will may feel this way. Anyway, before I get too excited, the point is, it was the first time I bought a Taurus gun. I wasn't sure exactly that I would be satisfied with the purchase. This was around $300 gun. And I was afraid I would have wasted the money, but I really felt like I had to try. So I got this gun, Taurus TX22. Not my first 22, but my first Taurus. Real quick, this is a striker fire, single action, double stack magazine, single stack magazine that takes 16 rounds. Comes with two 16-round magazines. It has an adapter for the barrel which came stuck with the gun in order for you to attach a half by 28 thread suppressor, which is not always the case. You know, for a 22 the barrel is much shorter. I forgot the diameter of the actual stock barrel, but you don't really get the adapter mount pieces already included. Sometimes you have to buy one like I did with Walter PPK, which we'll talk about in another video. Aluminum slide, polymer frame, so a balance of polymer and aluminum, which I think helps in the way the gun is Front sights, rear sight are the rear sights are adjustable. They are white dot sights, and I'll do a close-up after in a second here. But out of the box, the gun was very accurate, very precise, very accurate. Felt great to shoot. It's got front serration on the slide, front and rear serrations. Yeah, this model has a safety manual, a safety switch, and magazine release button. I think since the popularity of the gun, if I'm not mistaken, last year Taurus released now 5 or 6 more versions. Some with 10 rounds, some without a safety, some with 10 rounds and without a safety, and vice versa. So before there were only 2 16 round, 10 rounds, and then there were 3, and now they made several combinations of the same gun plus or minus the safety. I think it has about the size of a Glock 19, maybe 19ish. Yeah, so it feels, I mean, it really feels good in the hand. Very easy to point. There's a serration cutout here. There's a cutout here, which I think, for depending on how you hold your pistol, I like it because I rest my thumb right there with my grip. Easy to disassemble. Just press this down. Make sure there's no magazine. Okay. I always said I struggle with it. There you go. Oh, I had to pull the trigger just slightly. So normally you just pull this retention bar down, comes apart, recoil spring, a barrel. Now right now I have the adapter mounted for the 1/2x28 thread, so I cannot pull the barrel out from the rear. So similar to the Glock really in terms of the interior designs. Interior assemble, just align them, align like so. The trigger is very crisp, very sharp, it doesn't feel sluggish. I know we shouldn't drive far 22 handgun so much when it's empty, but you guys get to abuse my gun for your entertainment. So it's registering right about at 4.5 pounds. Oh, I need to. Let's do one more time. Yes, almost 5 pounds, so between 4.5 and 5. But I know it's not a big deal on the 22, but the trigger feels great, not sluggish at all. Very good pistol. I do not have a single ounce of regret for this purchase. So the couple of things, really, so I shoot it a lot unsuppressed. I also shoot it a lot suppressed, and it works like a charm with a suppressor. The sights are not even that tall. However, depending on the suppressor you use, I've used a tiny Surefire 22 or AAC Armand, but even this big one from Liberty Centurion, the sights are just right above, at the same height as the suppressor, so I'm able to still use my sight when I'm practicing, and the point of impact deviation is very minimal. I've been very impressed by this handgun for what you pay. So I usually I just thread it. Of course, I have a piston, since it's a reciprocating slide. I have a piston here, or even if I wanted to play with 3-lug adapter and mount the big hybrid 46, which I've done in the past. It's kind of a big heavy configuration, but this still works, although the suppressor really blocks is taller than the sight. But I've shot this in this configuration before. Maybe I should start carrying like that. point is suppresses very well. I've tried it with 3 or 4 suppressors so far. So good. Ammunition. So I do want to say, when I suppress it a couple of times, depending on the ammo, Aguila 22, just regular 22, hollow point 38 grain, because the box is right there. A couple of times I've had maybe a failure to completely eject the casing, but typically I'm fine. The main problem I have with this gun so far is the magazine, and it could be a combination of me and the mag. When I load certain ammunitions, certain 22 Winchester white boxes, let me see, what Winchester Western 36 grain 22 long rifle, because the box is there as well. Sometimes I've noticed the head of the 22 flattens up and then gets stuck in the front lip of the magazine. One of the magazine I marked it with a black X at the bottom. One of the magazine, this one in particular, has been very problematic, so I stopped using this one. However, what I read and what the manual recommends is to load with the little loader, magazine loader that comes with the gun, which I don't use. I'm usually the guy who reads the manual and try to follow the instruction, especially when I have an issue. But I usually load the magazine by hand, so you just have to make sure the rounds are sitting properly, because I think sometimes they tilt down and they hit against the thing. So when you go to shoot, it doesn't engage, the ammunition doesn't get loaded into the chamber. Besides that, great handgun, very light. I haven't had to adjust the sights, but they are adjustable as I mentioned. Although I see the screw is a little bit tilted here, but I don't know how long it's gonna last, and if I'm gonna have any issues in the future. But I bought this at least 6 or 8 months ago now, and I've gone through, let's see, 500 rounds. Now I've not shot too many 22s lately, but if I usually have a box of, I would say at least 3,000 rounds, which is not a lot when you think in 22. It goes fast, I should say. However, with the price of ammunition and the shortage, even 22s are not that cheap. But I was very impressed with the Taurus TX22. If you have one, post in the comments what your thoughts are, what you like about it. I've been wanting to do a video on this one, but I've just got some of the stuff I wanted to do before I did this one. I was not in a rush, but very good gun. This is one of the no regrets kind of firearms. Again, I don't really care that it's a Taurus or the brand. I kind of like that brand. Another Taurus that I tried from someone at the range, and randomly a guy got excited and was looking at my guns and wanted me to try it. He was shooting a Taurus G3, and he had the G2 as well. And I've also held the G3. Same story. I felt like I may enjoy that gun. Maybe I'll get one, maybe not. I don't know. But if you were interested in the Taurus TX22, you will have no regret. You shouldn't, right? Very good gun, especially now with the cost of a 9mm round, which I tend to shoot a lot more. You can go really, it's a better alternative to shoot a 22. It's not the same feeling in terms of recoil. It's just easier to shoot 22. However, for range plinking, this is purely a plinker. For range plinking and just having pure fun at the range, and even using suppressor, you won't regret it. And in terms of suppression, I have this Remington subsonic round, 22 round. I shoot those suppressed, very quiet with this gun as well. If you're in the market for one, I would highly recommend it. Another thing to keep in mind, what I've noticed on this one, keep them clean. Depending on the 22 round that I use, I found cases also not extracting from the chamber of the back of the barrel, and sometimes I have to pry them out with an empty case. And one time I actually used my knife and I kind of scratched my ejection port on the side there just a little bit. But keep them clean and find out which ammo works best for that gun. As you try different 22 round, brand, you may notice a little difference in extraction or things like that. And I was also shooting suppressed, so you have to keep that into factor. If you're in the market for one, I would highly recommend it. Another thing to keep in mind, what I've noticed on this one, keep them clean. Depending on the 22 round that I used, I found cases also not extracting from the chamber of the back of the barrel, and sometimes I have to pry them out with an empty case. And one time I actually used my knife and I kind of scratched my ejection port on the side there just a little bit. But keep them clean and find out which ammo works best for that gun. As you try different 22 round brands, you may notice a little difference in extraction or things like that. And I was also shooting suppressed, so you have to keep that into factor. Comes with 2 magazines, the box, the flush barrel, and then you have this mount adapter that you can install to mount your half by 28. I've been really shooting 22s lately because of, again, ammunition. Another great gun that we will talk about another time is the Kel-Tec CP33. I really like some of the Kel-Tec's firearms, especially my Sub 2000. I've read so many reviews, I've had that gun for years. We'll talk about it a little bit, but the Kel-Tec Sub 2000, never had a single issue with that gun. Love mine. It's not even the latest model. I know they made a new model not too long ago. But anyway, CP33 is another good option that I got in 2020. However, I'm still getting dispute with the magazine. I'm still fighting and loading those magazines properly, but that's a video, that's a gun for another video. The TX22. I think that's about it, right? Great gun, affordable. I think $320, $310 or $300 range. Suppressible. 16 round magazine, comes with 2 magazines. Polymer frame, aluminum slide. Front and rear sights, adjustable rear sights. In this case, mine has a safety switch. Can't go wrong with it. Striker firing system.